I have coming home from the health clinic, the new one, and I had to drive, not me driving because I have a taxi from the health care, and the car drive me all over my city, and it's a big city I live in, not very big city, Helsingborg, but it take about 10-15 minutes to drive to the health clinic from where I live, and it's in May. I don't know. You know the date, but it's May in 2023, and it start to be summer, and they say in the news that it was about 2 weeks late, the spring and the summer also. So it's very hard for us that waiting for the summer to lost 2 weeks this year. But I hope that I can travel and stay in a more warm place in the winter time, so I don't need to feel depression, and I can recording my podcast wherever I am in winter time. I don't need to sit in my home to do it, and maybe I can get some people to ask me questions in my podcast so I can answer that. And if I can't answer it, I ask the Spirit to answer the questions that I need to have. And I don't have anyone that write me. The only that write me is people that is angry at me, that devil's people that write me, not those good people. I know Jesus say this, are you calling me good? There is only one that is good, and that is God. We have our mistake and fault, and we are not perfect, but we need to try to be perfect, and ask for forgiveness for what we have done before we knew God. And now I am going to talk about what happened today, but I want to say when it's coming up that and now I did forget it, so I need to have a Spirit remind me of what I was on my way to say. It's here the Spirit is talking about that I say about Jesus is saying, you say that I am good, but I am not. He's not good. There is only one, and that's God, that is the good one, because we have our fault. And now I'm coming to what the Spirit helped me with, that we have our fault, And there we have to ask for forgiveness, not only when we are in the afterlife. We need to ask for forgiving now, today, and not like Catholics do. Many of them, not all, but they ask forgiveness in the church, and then they go out and do the same thing. And that is wrong, because we need to learn and try to be perfect. It's not to be perfect to go and ask forgiveness for the sin they have done, and then they go back and do the same sin. We need to learn from our mistake. We need to know what's in God's will, and what heaven is helping us to understand what is in God's will. That's those in afterlife, they only help God and help us. They are not gods. They are helper, and so they can only help us to tell us what's in God's will. It's not in their will, but of course the afterlife people, they want us to be so perfect as we can when we live here on earth, and not pretend that we are not such. We are like God, that we can make our own decision. We can make all these tattoos in the skin. We can do homosexual things, and we can lie, and we can do many bad things, and because we are good in some ways, and then we are bad in some ways, and that is what Jesus is talking about. You have to make up your mind if you want to stay in the good side, or if you belong to those that is going to hell, and be on the bad side. You can't. It's only because you tattoo a cross on your skin that make you not good. That you have cut into the skin, and the cross is a killing weapon. That's not good. The cross killed Jesus, so that is not good. You pretend only because you make tattoos of angels' wings that people should look at you as an angel when you are not that. So you can't hide anything. They know exactly what you are doing and what you are saying. And so the spirit that's coming touch me, and he have a white robe, so he is one of the highest priests coming and talk to us about this, to pretend to be good when you are not good. But what you know it's hard to change something that you don't recognize in you. That is hard, but if it's some things that you know you do bad things, you hurt people, you even kill, and you know that, and that's what you should work on to be better in. Not to go to a preacher and say that I have sinned, can I get forgiveness? A man on earth can't do that for you. You can't go to a person and ask that person to pray for you, and or talk to God for you. That is a lie. That is a lie from the devil. People think that, so many think that they can go to someone else and only get to talk to God and forgiveness and be healed in that way. It doesn't work in that way. You need to have a relationship with God. You can't place it on another person. That was what I am talking about the whole time in my podcast. This, to create a relationship with God and come to know God's will for the whole planet here. And for you also. But you should not be selfish. So you should ask God to help the whole planet also, not only yourself. And because we are a family that lives here on this planet, like they in afterlife are a whole family. They don't marry in heaven, and what they have married here on earth, they don't take it with them. That doesn't work in that way. If they have told you this, they have told you because they don't know what's going on in afterlife and what's in God's will. In God's will, we are all brother and sisters. We are not married to our brother and sister. We don't do any children with our brother and sister, and we don't make any children in heaven. That we do here on this planet. Yes, I heard that you say amen about this. So I know some people understand this. But I'm waiting for a telephone call from the health clinic, so I can't be recording for a long time here. So I am going to tell you what happened today on my way to the in the taxi going home, and I got a knowledge, a real good knowledge. I'm so happy for this knowledge, that everything is planned about that a car drive over me, but I was not killed of it, because I should do more work for God, for heaven. So I got this taxi driving me, but it had been a short ride, and I had hard to give them my testimony. And then I find out why it was so hard with the doctor. I was talking about this last time I recording, and I understand, and you should not be angry about it, because that can disturb your connection with those in afterlife. It was a reason why it was so hard to get some help from the clinic, so I changed it to another health clinic. And I understand these things that make you angry and disturb you and make you do bad things to other people because you are angry and disturbed. That is from the devil. And I was a little on my way to be angry at the health clinic, but I was not really angry. I don't go angry like that anymore. So I wait, and then I change to another health clinic. And this was about, the drive was about 15 minutes, so much longer than in those other health clinic. So I could, on my way back home, I could give the driver my testimony. The first, when I when I come to the health clinic, I was sitting in a car that it was like a van sitting behind the driver, and that I couldn't talk so much, and he was Swedish also. So, but on my way back home, it was a man that was not so good in Swedish. And I talked to him about my life situation, and I told him that I was in Jerusalem in December, and he asked me something that no one have asked me. He asked me, why were you in Jerusalem? What did you do there? And I told him, I could tell him that I ended my education from heaven by going there for my 4th season. I have done all the 4 seasons, and it was time to end this. And he asked, "Did you have someone with you?" He asked, and I say, "No, I travel on my own." Because he saw that I was so bad in my body, I couldn't walk. I have to hold him in his arm for to could walk. So he was surprised that I could travel to Jerusalem. But I say, that's a spirit thing. My body in itself couldn't travel to fly to Jerusalem, but the spirit helped me to come to Jerusalem and going back to Sweden again. And that's what I'm talking about. If you understand that, I need to have someone coming and help me to come to your place. That's what I want you to talk to someone that could help you to get a flight ticket to my place. I live close to Copenhagen's international airport, so it's not hard to come and get me here. And because if not God is talking to me to travel to a country or a city or I can't do it if not God is talking about it. If God not talking about me to travel, that's from my own interest, and it's worldly things I do, because now is it closed. It's ended my spirit journey. I am educated, but it's time for the world, for you that listen at my podcast, to action, to do action, to understand that I can sit here and talk about what the heaven want to say, but if I come to your place, I will talk to your church, your city, to you in person, what heaven want to tell you, what heaven want to tell the church. So in not I have been preaching, and I was in Kenya and preaching, and they people that was follow me, they were amused, they were surprised that in all the churches, I was in maybe at least 20 churches and preach, and in each of these churches I was preaching something for that church, and then I come to another church, I preach for that church. I didn't preach for all the churches. I preach what God and heaven saw in that church, and I could point out people that I didn't know, but there were people that was sent by God to hear my preaching, and I could tell they are pastors for churches. I could tell from maybe 50 people that was listen at my preaching, that I could tell that maybe 2-3 was pastors for their own churches that was there, and they be so surprised that I could tell who, and I told also evil people that was there, and I told about those people that was there that was not coming for to do good things but to do bad things. And when I come and talk to the church leaders, like private, they told me they had very much disturbing things from those people that I have pointed out for them. My spirit could feel their spirits, and that what I did in the churches. I was in Kenya, but here in Sweden, no church. I have been once in a church, but they didn't wanted me to preach anymore in their church, even if God told me things from the church, and it come to be that they were kicked out from the church. The church closed down because they didn't receive the preaching that I did, and they I wanted to be in that church, be hired of the church because I didn't have a job. But they didn't hire me, they hired someone else. And it's going anger from heaven. So they lost their church building. So I can do. It's not only she's coming here and she is going to talk well about everyone in the church, well about the church. No, it's not like that. I tell you the truth, and the truth is coming from heaven. I am, like I have said many times, I am only the mouth for the spirit world. I don't have my own talking to you in my podcast. I have some, but most of it, about 90%, is from heaven that I speak. So this is what I wanted to tell you, that why I didn't get any good response from the other health clinics, that I needed to have a health clinic far away from me. But it was not about the clinic, it was that I should do testimony to the drivers to get it. And one day they maybe come together and talk about me, that I have told them my testimony, and they be coming here and be interested. Maybe good, in a good way or a bad way, I don't know. It's only heaven that knows. And maybe it's what they want me to come home, that someone shoot me. I live on the mark, I don't live upstairs, I live on the ground. So they can be in my window and shoot me. But I hope it's positive things. But if God wants to call me home, I maybe is going to be in that way that He take me home. But I hope in that way that it's instantly death. So I don't have any much pain or be in a bed like a vegetable. Not that I instantly come to heaven in that way, if it will happen. So thank you for listening, and God bless you.